Welcome back to the Daily Mastermind. My name is George Wright III with your daily dose of inspiration, motivation, and education. Welcome back to the podcast, everybody. I hope you are having an amazing Friday the 13th, and maybe some of you aren't, for those of you that have a problem with that date. But I'm super happy to be here with you. I've got some great financial information I want to share with you today, and it's about the safest, fastest, and simplest way to grow your wealth. So earlier this week, I had the opportunity to host a private training with, a friend and partner named Scott Estill, who is a very well sought after speaker, author, lawyer, specializing in tax reduction strategies. He's written several books, and up until 1995, he was actually the senior trial attorney for the IRS. But he left the IRS, thank heavens, good for me, right? And for you, because he wanted to help personal and business owners get the edge on the IRS by saving them thousands on their tax returns. He's actually sued the IRS over 2,500 times and rarely lost a case. He's had massive success for his clients. Now, he doesn't accept personal clients anymore, but he is still very active, and he was willing to do an extensive training to cover some, major principles and strategies that I know are going to help you with your personal or your business taxes. So I'm going to include a link to that interview in this podcast, and I'm also going to include a link to a private training we did where he covered all of the 2019 changes to the tax law. Some of you may or may not even be aware of those changes, but I know that most of them will affect most of you, and so it's important that you check those out. But today I want to share with you a couple of key takeaways from the interview I just did in hopes it'll draw your awareness to the need for thinking more strategically about your taxes. Because like I said a minute ago, you got to realize that reducing your taxes is the safest, simplest, fastest way to put money in your pocket and increase your wealth. You can go out and create risk and try to, create $10,000 in income or return on your investments, or you could just put $10,000 in your pocket that you already have instead of giving it to the IRS. So I think that's a very, very important part of your financial strategy. And let me just reiterate this. Getting a tax return is not a financial strategy. Some of you wait all year long in anticipation of getting your tax return, and you're so excited, and all this is money that you earned, that you gave the government, that you're getting back. And that is not a financial strategy. You guys have to spend time and learn that tax planning and tax preparation is a key financial strategy. Now, I haven't been the best at it either, but that's why I like spending time on topics like this, because it brings your awareness back up, right? So here are a few key things that I think you should know in order to start saving thousands and thousands on your taxes. Number one, there's a difference between tax planning and tax preparation. And you should look for someone that can fit both of those needs. It might be someone separate for tax planning and someone separate for tax preparation, or it might be the same person. But you need to look for someone that has basically similar interests, background, and experience in the area you're in. If you are a real estate investor or a stock investor, it really helps to have a tax professional that understands the planning aspect, because your taxes, and I'm not saying make decisions based on your taxes, but a lot of times your taxes will influence the way you invest. But tax planning throughout the year is different and probably more important than tax preparation. And it's also very important that you're organized and efficient with the way you do your tax planning and throughout the year. Number two, learning to think differently when it comes to tax planning and preparation is the key. I'm going to mention this again in a few minutes, but how you think about your taxes is just like I've mentioned many, many times, 7-figure, 8-figure, 9-figure individuals that I've met and I've learned from think differently. They think outside the box. They don't think, can I do this, yes or no? They think, how can I do this? How can I build my business around a way that I can actually create write-offs, right? Number three, the number one way to save money on your taxes by far is to start a business. Start a business. And that leads me right to number four, which is businesses have far more deductions, benefits, and tax advantages than individuals. Individuals, in all honesty, individuals are set up very little benefits on their taxes. Businesses are the ones that are really set up to win when it comes to the tax game. And rather than having that scarcity mentality of big corporate businesses or getting all the benefits, why don't you just take your life to the next level and create a business? Now, this can be a sole proprietorship, an S Corp, an LLC, a C Corp. There's a lot of different ways that you can create a business. But I would probably guess that a majority of you that listen to this podcast have done some kind of side hustle, business, or investing, which qualifies you for a business. And it's very important for you to know what business structures give you the best tax benefits, whether you're writing off medical reimbursements or you're writing off, expenses from your home, your cell phone, your, any kind of expenses, your vehicle, your mileage. You've got to get educated on that. But businesses by far are the best way to take advantage of reducing your taxes. Number 5, don't let the fear of being audited keep you from making decisions on how you file your return. Do not let the fear of being audited keep you from making decisions to file your return. I'm going to probably get a link, or I'm going to send you some type of a link to a PDF of the actual statistics of being audited. And most of you in your tax brackets have a less than 0.5% chance of being audited, and it would blow your mind. And let's just remember, I'm not advising you to get aggressive. You can get as aggressive or as conservative as you want, but the chances of you being audited are very small. And that leads me to number 6, which is a very small percentage of people and businesses get audited. And there are certain triggers that you can learn and become aware of that do increase your risk of audit. And even with the increased risk, do not put you into a high percentage risk for audit. And so it's really important that you learn that as well. Number 5, and the last point I wanted to bring out is, it's very important that you start to ask the right questions when it comes to your taxes. The right questions, asking the right questions is far more important than getting a specific answer. Let me give you an example. You may say to yourself, can I write off my car payment? Or can I write off my miles, whether you have a business or not? Can I write off my dry cleaning? Can I write off my cell phone? It's not about the right yes or no answer, because every situation's different. It's about asking the right questions. What can I do in ways that will allow me to write off my mileage, to write off my cell phone, to write off my home office, to write off my utilities, to write off my cable, to write off my internet, to be able to write off dry cleaning and travel status? I'll give you a great example. We do a high net worth cruise every year in December with a elite group of high net worth investors. And we're going to the Caribbean at the end of the year, so hopefully they get a handle on this whole coronavirus thing, but I'm going to go anyway. But cruises are not tax deductible. You cannot write a cruise off, except if you ask the question, what can I do that can allow me to write that off? There is a section of the IRS code that says cruises, if they're transportation, and it's a really big boat, but it's definitely transportation, it's in order for a business meeting or education purposes or whatever, are a write-off. And they give you it's like $700 to $900 a day that you can write off. Well, so that's one of the reasons we do an offshore investor retreat meeting in Mexico. And that's the way we're able to create that write-off for our students that use the cruise. So that's just a great example of asking the right questions and doing things in the right way. Now, I'd encourage you to click on the link inside this blog or podcast, whatever you're listening to. Get the details, get the questions and answers that Scott did in our interview. And it's a basic interview, but I'm also going to include the 2019 tax changes and how they will affect you interview. So there's a second link. I really want to emphasize the importance of spending time and developing strategies to help you make better decisions around your personal and business taxes. When you're strategic about your taxes, you can significantly increase your chances of building wealth. And most importantly, you can put a bunch of money back in your pocket. It's money you've earned. You may as well keep it. Now, I want to encourage you guys all to, actually, you know what? Let me also throw out to you the opportunity to attend the 3-day Asset Protection and Wealth Summit that we do. I do this 4 times a year because I think that could be a way that you could take a time out from your schedule, get out to an event, and get a lot of information. Normally those workshops, those 3-day workshops, are $1,000, But anyone in the Daily Mastermind community or listening to this podcast, I'm 100% willing to let go for free, no cost, no strings attached. It's $1,000 value. But if you go to the website, my website, g3worldwide.com, you'll see our summit and our wealth summit on there. Just click on that link, because anyone that wants to learn how to protect your assets, reduce your taxes, or finalize any estate planning that you have, we have some of the top attorneys, tax experts, and investors, 7, 8, and 9-figure guys that fly in for that, guys and girls. And so you're welcome to come to those events. I'll waive the ticket fee for you, no cost there. If you decide to do any work with anyone, you can cover the cost of doing your own work. But we do a massive amount of training at those 3 days. We have a Phoenix one coming up at the end of April, and then we've got Anaheim at the end of May, beginning of June. So if you want to go to that, you can do that. So anyway, with that thought aside, I really want to encourage you to spend time on your wealth and estate plan. And this involves heavily educating yourself in the area of taxes. I know taxes is boring, but you know, guys like Scott Estill really are knowledgeable and can teach you a lot in a short period of time. So anyway, that's my message for today. I hope that you will continue to build the life that you were meant to live. And I know that starts with your wealth as well. So I hope those principles and strategies have helped you just a bit. I look forward to talking with you next week. Have an amazing weekend. This is George Wright III, and this has been the Daily Mastermind. Have a great weekend.